8:49 on a Wednesday morning on KCMO Talk Radio. Let's get it rolling.
KCMO Talk Radio, now on FM at 95.7. It's time for What If Wednesday.
What if, instead of having you on this radio station, there was somebody else?
All right, 3 questions on a What If Wednesday. John, what is on the rundown, my man?
Well, how about this? What if Frank White vetoes the spending plans from the Jackson County Legislature? They worked on that all day yesterday.
Yes, they're trying to figure out how to allocate the $70 million. They have 2 more weeks to allocate from COVID monies. Well, if Frank White vetoes it, he is punching a one-way ticket out of town. So, listen, Frank White is already on thin ice for a multitude of reasons when it comes to his popularity in Jackson County and the job he's done as the executive of the county. But if he screws this up, because he is getting bipartisan pushback on this, Republicans and Democrats on that legislature are like, Frank, we're trying to work with you here. We're trying to put together a spending package to use this $70 million the feds gave us. We've got to use it and allocate it by the end of the year. And Frank is really not looking to play nice with his own legislature in what appears to be petty politics. If he vetoes, and they've given him, as they're calling it, a buffet of options.
There were over 24 items yesterday.
24 items. They've said, hey, let's spend a few million here, a few million there. If he vetoes this, then the man is no longer serious about leading this county. Forget, you think about the old ball players. Never got to buy a meal in this town again. Frank White's never going to have anyone buy him a meal in this town ever again. Those days are going to be over for Frank White. He is putting the final nail in his own coffin as a politician if he willingly screws this up. And I talked to a couple of people on the legislature this morning, and they are more optimistic, I'll say, than they have been in a long time. But as one legislator put it to me this morning, if he vetoes all of this, then he is intentionally starving the county. Now, the broader conversation here is, what are they spending the money on? Well, just to give you some idea of the $70 million, remember, this was money given through the 2021, one of the 2021 COVID bills, right? $10 million on giving Visit KC assistance for the World Cup. $5 million to assist Kansas City with redevelopment of Parade Park, $1 million for a pedestrian bridge project in Sugar Creek. Let's be honest, none of this has anything to do with anything tied to COVID anymore. It's just funny money. It's monopoly money. It's a total joke. That being said, if you're Jackson County, you'd be moronic to not spend the money. It's not like it's going back to the Fed to pay off the $36 trillion debt. But it is another example of how we totally screwed ourselves during and after COVID by printing all of this money, pumping it into the system, and still creating inflation all these years later. Because think about this, right? If you've got $1 million on a pedestrian bridge project in Sugar Creek Park that is only getting funded because of made-up printed money by the Fed, well, whoever does the work on that pedestrian bridge will not be doing work on some other project, whatever that company is. It creates downstream pressures on the economy at large, which helps drive inflation. So that's why we are still dealing with this pesky inflation, because we're still spending money that we printed years ago in the name of, air quotes, COVID. What's next, John?
What if an election result is no longer an absolute, but simply a recommendation?
It's not going to encourage more voters to go to the polls. And that ties into this conversation in Platte County that we've spent a lot of time on the last couple of days. If you're trying to get people engaged in local politics and get them out to vote in local elections, like non-presidential elections, you're not going to help drive them there. Regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, this isn't about one issue. It's not about this Platte County sales tax. It's just broadly speaking, you're not going to get buy-in from people at the local political level when suddenly you say, yes, go vote in local elections. These things matter. But if they go the way that maybe certain people in charge don't want them to go, they don't really matter. They're a recommendation. That opens up a potential can of worms, and it's not going to encourage people on the fence who might not want to go vote in some April sales tax election to get out and vote if they feel like their vote doesn't ultimately matter. And that is something, it's a sidebar of this whole Platte County conversation, but it is one that is worth having as time goes on, John.
All right, here's a good one. What if Mark never found the Chiefs tickets at the holiday party?
Well, if Mark never found the Chiefs tickets at the holiday party, so there was like 35 paper stars located around the building at the holiday party last night. And if you found one of these stars, you could go up and you could then get a gift. You didn't know what the gift was going to be. It was, you could get stuff to restaurants. You could get vouchers to different places around town. But also there were a couple of tickets to the Chiefs game on Saturday against the Texans. So I think Keatsman won a pair of tickets. Mm-hmm. So then we found out that there was a couple of stars outstanding that were hidden somewhere around the holiday party. And there was a pair of Chiefs tickets left. So Mark spent 45 minutes scouring the building to find this star, knowing that there was still a pair of Chiefs tickets available to Saturday's game. And if Mark never found this star that was located somewhere at the holiday party last night, well, we would not have a board op and producer this morning of the show. It would be just John and I, and Mark would still be searching far and wide at the holiday party location, looking for this star to try to win these Chiefs tickets. I've never seen a guy looking under every single thing he could look under last night, trying to find these Chiefs tickets. But you found them, Mark, so good on you.
It was an adventure, and that was just something that I did not expect at the holiday party to happen. First of all, Chiefs tickets. Second of all, doing a treasure hunt, basically. And that I was kind of excited about that.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Well, you were extra excited about it. You were in your Chiefs sweater, your ugly Christmas sweater. What did it say on it?
It just said Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, okay.
It had some tree design on it.
It was so ugly I couldn't look at it for too long.
It was new.
It was new and it was hideous. But you looked good in it last night. You didn't wear a hat. You don't have a hat on this morning, which is a rarity. Mm-hmm. And you were, being a social guy. And then you heard that you could find Chiefs tickets by looking for this star on this treasure hunt. And no one saw you for 45 minutes.
Yeah, my wife couldn't make it last night. She had to do the whole caravan thing, taking the girls to their activities. So.
You mean she had to be a parent while you were scouring the holiday party for Chiefs tickets?
Exactly. So I had time to do it. If my wife was there, I would not have probably been doing that.
That's a lie. That is a lie. He would have left his wife with us. He would have been running all over the room looking for the star. You are lying through your teeth, and I will not stand for it. That is such a bunch of BS, and you know it.
If she had told me, hey, go find the Chiefs tickets, I would have done it, but I wouldn't have left her for a pair of Chiefs
Yes, you
tickets.
would. You're leaving her on Saturday. You're like, I've got to find a babysitter now for the kids because she's working.
That's the tough thing. She's working. I'd be home by the time she gets off work. So you
knew that she worked on Saturday, and you are leaving your family, and you're going to find a babysitter. And now you're telling me you would not have left your wife alone last night to go find these tickets. That's nonsense.
We could have made it a fun event where we were both looking for it together. That's a thing that we could have done together. But
you would have said, honey, you take that side of the building, I'll take this side of the building.
You got to check the women's restrooms. I couldn't get in there.
Hey, these days anyone can go in any bathroom, so don't say that. You just got to say, hey, I'm popping in the women's room. I'm identifying as a woman today, at least for the next 5 minutes. Just got to look for tickets. Oh, please.
Was not in the bathroom.
Was just bang on the door, go, maintenance.
Oh, gosh. Stop, Mark. Stop. There's What If Wednesday on KCMO Talk Radio.